I was lying in a hospital bed staring at my phone screen. The number staring back at me was $372. That was all that remained of our emergency fund. 7 years of marriage. 7 years of saving every spare dollar. $42,000 gone. My wife Amanda stood beside me, and when I asked about my surgery, she said something I will never forget. "You can wait, Glenn. It is her special day." Her sister's wedding mattered more than my ability to walk. Before we begin this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you find value in stories like this, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let me tell you how I discovered that the person sharing your bed can become the biggest stranger in your life, and what I did about it from that hospital bed. My name is Glenn. I am 34 years old and I work as a software engineer at a tech company in Austin, Texas. 8 years ago, I walked into a small coffee shop near downtown to grab my usual morning brew. That is where I first saw Amanda. She was sitting at a corner table, laptop open, typing furiously. She had this intense focus that I found attractive. I later learned she was an accountant finishing up some reports before a deadline. We started talking that morning. One conversation turned into 2 hours. 2 hours turned into exchanging phone numbers. Phone numbers turned into dates. Dates turned into falling in love. A year later, we stood in front of a judge at the city hall and said our vows. No fancy ceremony, no expensive venue. Just the two of us and a few close friends. We both agreed it was the practical choice. Why spend thousands on one day when we could invest in our future? That practical mindset defined our marriage. We were a team. Amanda handled our finances because she had the accounting background. I trusted her completely. Every month we sat down together and reviewed our budget. We made a pact early on. 20% of our combined income would go into an emergency fund. No exceptions, no excuses. That fund was our safety net, our security blanket against whatever life might throw at us. After 7 years of disciplined saving, that fund reached $42,000. I remember the day we hit that number. Amanda smiled and said we were finally in a good place. I believed her. I had no reason not to. Life felt stable, predictable, safe. I went to work every day, came home to my wife, and we built our life brick by brick. Or so I thought. About 6 months before everything fell apart, I started noticing a dull ache in my lower back. At first, I blamed it on sitting at my desk for too long. Software engineers are not exactly known for their posture. I bought a standing desk converter and tried to stretch more often. The pain persisted. Then it got worse. The ache transformed into sharp shooting pain that radiated down my left leg. Some mornings I woke up and my foot felt numb, like it had fallen asleep and refused to wake up. I mentioned it to Amanda one evening over dinner. "You should probably see a doctor," she said without looking up from her phone. Her tone was casual, almost dismissive. I chalked it up to her being distracted by work. I finally made an appointment with my primary care physician. He referred me to a specialist. After MRIs and consultations, I sat in an orthopedic surgeon's office and received news that changed everything. "Mr. Glenn, doctor," Patterson said, looking at my scans with a furrowed brow, "you have a severe herniated disc pressing on your spinal nerve. This requires surgery within the next 3 months. If we wait longer than that, you risk permanent nerve damage. We are talking potential paralysis in your lower extremities." The word paralysis echoed in my head. I asked about the cost. "After insurance, approximately $35,000, the billing coordinator told me. I drove home that day feeling a strange mix of fear and relief. Fear of the surgery, yes, but relief because we had the emergency fund. This was exactly what it was for. Emergencies. My health was an emergency. The money was there. Everything would be fine. That same week, Amanda came home with news of her own. Her younger sister Brittany had gotten engaged. Brittany was 28, the baby of the family, and had always been treated as such. She was marrying a guy named Derek who sold cars at a dealership across town. Nice enough fellow, but his income was unpredictable at best. "Brittany wants a dream wedding," Amanda announced at dinner, her eyes bright with excitement. "She is thinking about that resort on the coast. You know, the one we visited last summer. She wants the whole package. Ceremony on the beach, reception in the ballroom, everything." I did some quick mental math. A destination wedding at that resort would easily cost $50,000 or more. "That sounds expensive," I said carefully. How are they planning to pay for it? Amanda's expression flickered for just a moment. Then she changed the subject to something about the menu options. I noticed, but I did not push. Maybe I should have. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing small things that did not add up. Amanda was going out more often, always with the excuse of helping Brittany with wedding preparations. She was on her phone, constantly texting back and forth with her sister. Credit card statements arrived with charges I did not recognize. Deposits for venues, payments to florists. A charge from a bridal boutique that made my eyes widen. When I asked about these charges, Amanda had a ready answer. I am just helping Brittany front some costs. She and Derek will pay us back once they get their finances sorted out. They are good for it, Glenn. Do not worry. I wanted to believe her, so I did. One night I could not sleep because my back was throbbing. I walked to the kitchen to get some water and heard Amanda talking on the phone in the living room. Her voice was low, almost a whisper. Do not worry about it, she was saying. He does not know. I will handle everything. Just focus on your wedding. A cold feeling settled in my stomach, but I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Amanda was my wife. She would never do anything to hurt me. 3 weeks before Brittany's wedding, my condition took a turn for the worse. I was at the office walking to a meeting when my left leg simply gave out. One moment I was standing, the next I was on the floor, papers scattered around me, colleagues rushing over to help. The ambulance ride to the hospital was a blur of sirens and concerned faces. Dr. Patterson came to see me in the emergency room. His expression was grave. Glenn, we cannot wait any longer. The herniation has progressed. If we do not operate within the next week, the probability of permanent paralysis is now at 70%. I need to schedule your surgery immediately. I called Amanda from my hospital bed. She arrived an hour later, but something was off. She kept checking her phone, her responses distracted and short. When I told her about the surgery timeline, I expected concern. I expected her to hold my hand and tell me everything would be okay. Instead, she looked at me with an expression I could not quite read. Can you postpone it? She asked quietly. I thought I had misheard her. What? The surgery. Can it wait a few more weeks, Amanda? I said slowly, trying to process what she was suggesting. Doctor Patterson said I have a 70% chance of losing the ability to walk if I do not have this surgery within 7 days. Why would I postpone it? She started fidgeting with her purse strap. Well, Brittany's wedding is in 3 weeks and things are really tight right now, and I felt a chill run down my spine that had nothing to do with my medical condition. Amanda, I said, keeping my voice steady, call the bank and arrange the withdrawal from our emergency fund. The surgery costs $35,000 after insurance. We have enough. She went silent, the kind of silence that fills a room with dread. About that, she finally whispered. About what? My voice was sharper now. I used some of the money, she admitted, still not meeting my eyes. For Brittany's wedding. Things got out of hand and Mom was pressuring me and Brittany really needed the help. Some of the money. How much is some? She mumbled, something I could not hear. How much, Amanda? Around $15,000, she said. I grabbed my phone from the bedside table and opened our banking app. My fingers were trembling as I entered my password. The screen loaded. The number stared back at me. $372. $42,000 reduced to pocket change. 7 years of sacrifice, discipline, and trust evaporated. Where is the rest? I demanded. You said $15,000. Where is the other $27,000? Amanda started crying. It all happened so fast, Glenn. The venue wanted a bigger deposit, then the catering. Then Mom said we needed to upgrade the flower arrangements because Aunt Susan was judging. And Brittany's dress cost more than expected because she fell in love with a designer gown. And Derek's family could not contribute anything, so we had to cover their share too. I listened to excuse after excuse pile up like garbage. Each word felt like a nail being driven into my chest. So let me understand this, I said, my voice dangerously calm. You spent our entire emergency fund, every dollar we saved, for 7 years on your sister's wedding. And now I am lying in a hospital bed being told I might never walk again and there is no money for my surgery. Amanda wiped her tears and looked at me with an expression that still haunts me. Glenn, she said, you can wait. Brittany cannot. This is her special day. She only gets one wedding. You can have surgery after the wedding. Doctors always exaggerate these things. You will be fine. Please do not be selfish. Selfish. She called me selfish for wanting to walk. I stared at this woman I had been married to for 7 years, the woman I trusted with everything, the woman who had just told me that her sister's party was more important than my legs. In that moment I did not see my wife anymore. I saw a stranger. That night alone in my hospital room I could not sleep. The pain in my back was excruciating, but the pain in my heart was worse. I thought about the past 7 years. All the times I had put Amanda's family first. When Brittany needed a car last year because her old one broke down, I helped cover the down payment. When their mother Linda needed her roof repaired, I wrote a check without hesitation. I never asked for anything in return. I never expected gratitude. But I also never expected to be lying in a hospital bed facing possible paralysis while my wife told me to wait because her sister needed a dream wedding. I made a decision in that dark room. For 7 years I had been the reliable one, the understanding one, the one who always said yes. That version of Glenn was finished. It was time to put myself first for once in my life. The next morning I called Marcus. We had been best friends since our freshman year of college. He was now a family law attorney with his own practice. I told him everything. She did what Marcus's voice was a mixture of shock and anger. Glenn, that is not just a betrayal. That is financial misconduct within a marriage. She used marital assets without your consent for a purpose that had nothing to do with your household. What can I do? I asked. Leave everything to me, Marcus said. I am coming to the hospital right now. Marcus arrived within the hour carrying his laptop and a stack of legal documents. We spent the morning working through my options. By noon, I had a plan. Step 1. I opened a new bank account in my name only. I contacted my employer's payroll department and redirected all future deposits to this new account. Amanda would not see another dollar of my income. Step 2. Marcus contacted my insurance company and negotiated a payment plan for the surgery. It was not ideal, but it was possible. Step 3. I called my father in Florida. Dad had retired a few years ago and lived comfortably off his pension and savings. When I told him what happened, he was on a flight to Austin that same evening. He offered to cover my surgery costs up front. I would pay him back over time. Family helps family, he said. Real family. Step 4. Marcus prepared divorce papers. The filing included a claim for reimbursement of the emergency fund that Amanda had misappropriated. In Texas, using marital assets for the sole benefit of one party without the other's consent can be considered dissipation of marital property. Amanda would have to answer for every dollar. Step 5. I scheduled my surgery for 4 days later, the day before Brittany's wedding. I did not tell Amanda any of this. She continued to text me updates about the wedding preparations, apparently convinced that I had accepted my role as the patient husband who would wait his turn. I responded with short messages. Sounds good. Hope it goes well. I gave her no indication of what was coming. The morning of my surgery, Amanda texted me a photo of the beach resort decorated for the wedding. Wish you could be here, she wrote. Get better soon. I was already being prepped for the operating room when that message arrived. The surgery took 4 hours. When I woke up in the recovery room, Dr. Patterson was smiling. It went perfectly, Glenn, he said. The pressure on your nerve has been relieved. With proper physical therapy, you should make a full recovery. For the first time in months, I felt something I had almost forgotten. Hope. Brittany's wedding happened the next day. Amanda called me 17 times. I did not answer once. She texted frantically, asking where I was, why I was not responding, whether I was okay. I let her wonder. 2 days after the wedding, Amanda returned home from celebrating her sister's nuptials. What she found was an empty house. While I was recovering in the hospital, Marcus and my father had packed up all my belongings. My clothes, my books, my computer equipment, everything that was mine was now in a storage unit across town. The only things left in the house were the divorce papers sitting on the kitchen counter and a note from my lawyer explaining that the joint accounts had been frozen, pending divorce proceedings. Amanda called me within minutes of walking through that door. Her voice was hysterical. Glenn, what is happening? Where is your stuff? What are these papers? I was calm. I had never felt more calm in my life. Amanda, I said, you made a choice. You chose your sister's wedding over my health. You chose a party over my ability to walk. You told me to wait because it was her special day. Well, now I am making a choice. I am choosing my future over this marriage. She started screaming about how I was being dramatic, how I was ruining everything, how I was tearing apart our family over money. I interrupted her. Amanda, I am not tearing anything apart. You already did that when you decided $42,000 of our shared savings belonged to Brittany's wedding fund. I am just responding accordingly. She tried guilt. She tried tears. She tried anger. Nothing worked. I ended the call with these words: I only acted selfishly once in 7 years of marriage, Amanda. And I did it to save my own legs. Linda called next, screaming profanities about how I had abandoned her daughter and ruined the family. I blocked her number without saying a word. Brittany sent a long text message apologizing, claiming she had no idea where the money came from, begging me to reconsider. I did not respond. Words meant nothing at this point. Only actions mattered. 6 months passed. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday afternoon in a courtroom that smelled like old paper and broken promises. Marcus had done his job well. The evidence of Amanda's financial misconduct was overwhelming. Bank statements, credit card records, text messages where she discussed hiding the spending from me. The judge was not sympathetic to her explanations. Amanda was ordered to reimburse me for half of the dissipated assets. She had to take out a personal loan to make the payment. I deposited that check without a shred of guilt. My physical recovery progressed steadily. 3 times a week I went to physical therapy. I did every exercise, followed every instruction, pushed through every moment of discomfort. By month 4, I was walking without assistance. By month 5, I was jogging short distances. Dr. Patterson called me his star patient. I got promoted at work. My manager said my focus and productivity had actually improved since the surgery. Maybe pain and betrayal have a way of clarifying priorities. I moved into a new apartment. It was smaller than the house I had shared with Amanda, but it was mine. Every corner of that space belonged to me and no one else. I bought furniture I actually liked. I painted the walls, colors I had always wanted, but Amanda had vetoed. I filled the refrigerator with food I enjoyed instead of compromising on every grocery trip. For the first time in years, I woke up each morning without a weight on my chest. I reconnected with friends I had lost touch with during my marriage. Amanda had never liked when I spent time with my old college buddies. She always had a reason why I should stay home instead. Now there was no one to stop me. I joined a hiking group that met on weekends. I started taking cooking classes on Thursday nights. I learned to make pasta from scratch, something I had always wanted to try but never had the time or encouragement to pursue. One Saturday morning, about a year after the divorce, I was hiking a trail in the hill country outside Austin. The group I was with stopped at a scenic overlook to catch our breath. A woman next to me started chatting about the wildflowers blooming along the path. Her name was Samantha. She was a physical therapist recently moved to Texas from Colorado. She had warm eyes and an easy laugh. We exchanged numbers that day. Our first date was 2 weeks later, coffee at a little shop downtown. Not so different from how I met Amanda all those years ago, but everything felt different this time. Samantha asked about my interests, my goals, my family. She listened when I talked. She remembered details from our previous conversations. She treated me like a partner, not a provider. We took things slow. After everything I had been through, I was not about to rush into anything. Samantha understood. She had her own history, her own scars. We built something steady, something healthy, something based on mutual respect and honest communication. Sometimes late at night I think about what happened with Amanda. I do not hate her anymore. Hate takes too much energy, and I refuse to give her that power over me. Mostly I feel sad. Sad for the years I spent believing I was in a partnership when I was really just a resource. Sad for the trust I gave so freely to someone who did not deserve it. Sad for the version of myself who thought that being a good husband meant sacrificing everything, including his own well-being. But I am also grateful. Strange as it sounds, I am grateful for that herniated disc. Without it, I might have spent another decade in that marriage, slowly being drained of money, energy, and self-worth. The pain in my back forced the truth into the light. It showed me who Amanda really was when things got difficult, and it gave me the push I needed to reclaim my life. I learned some lessons from this experience that I carry with me every day. First, never love anyone so much that you forget to love yourself. Sacrifice is part of any relationship, but it cannot be one-sided. If you are always the one giving and never receiving, that is not partnership, that is exploitation. Second, kindness is not weakness, but it must have boundaries. Being a good person does not mean letting others take advantage of you. You can be generous and still protect yourself. You can be caring and still say no. Third, sometimes the worst things that happen to you are actually the best things for you. You just need the courage to walk through the pain and come out the other side. I still have a small scar on my lower back from the surgery. Every time I see it, I remember what I survived. Not just the medical procedure, but the betrayal, the divorce, the rebuilding of my entire life. That scar is not a reminder of pain. It is a reminder of strength. If you are watching this and you find yourself in a similar situation where someone you trust has shown you that their priorities do not include your well-being, I want you to know something. You are not selfish for putting yourself first. You are not wrong for expecting basic respect and consideration. And you are not alone. So here is my question for you. If you were in my shoes lying in that hospital bed hearing the person you loved tell you to wait because someone else's party was more important than your health, what would you have done? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like. If you want to hear more stories like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share this video with them. Sometimes we all need a reminder that our own well-being matters. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of this community. Take care of yourselves out there. You are worth it.